At 67, Robert didn't feel old, but his body told a different story. Mornings began slower, his energy faded faster, and the confidence that once defined him felt like a memory. He exercised when he could, avoided excess, and kept his medical checkups. Yet something inside was dimming. When he walked into my clinic, he carried that exhaustion in his posture. "Doctor," he said, "I'm not sick, but I don't feel alive anymore." I've heard that sentence from hundreds of men. They arrive believing their decline is natural, another chapter of aging that must be endured. But what if aging isn't the problem? What if something smaller, quieter, and more controllable is draining the life out of them one meal at a time? Robert didn't come to me for another supplement or a list of restrictions. He came searching for understanding. When I reviewed his history, one detail caught my attention. His diet looked healthy, at least by modern standards, low in fat, plenty of vegetables and packaged foods labeled as light or heart-friendly. But when I looked closer, every label hid the same ingredient: refined seed oil. These oils, soybean, canola, sunflower, corn, sound harmless. For decades, they've been promoted as the safer alternative to saturated fats. Yet inside the body, they behave nothing like what their marketing promises. When exposed to heat and oxygen, they oxidize rapidly, producing compounds that inflame the very tissues they claim to protect. Over time, that inflammation restricts blood flow, interferes with nitric oxide production, and silently ages the circulatory system from the inside out. I asked Robert to make one change. Nothing extreme. No new routine. No complicated plan. I told him to remove every source of those oils for 3 weeks. That was it. Replace them with olive oil, avocado oil, or real butter. Natural fats that the body recognizes and can metabolize cleanly. He looked at me skeptically. "Just that?" he asked. "Just that," I said. 3 weeks later, Robert returned. The difference was visible before he even spoke. His skin had regained color, his movements were smoother, and his eyes carried alertness I hadn't seen before. "Doctor," he said, "I'm sleeping through the night again. I wake up clear. I feel strong." His blood tests confirmed what his body already knew. Inflammation markers were down. Circulation was stronger. His hormone levels had stabilized. What happened inside him was not magic. It was biology finally unburdened. When chronic inflammation fades, blood vessels relax, oxygen flow increases, and the body begins repairing the microdamage that accumulates with time. The results can appear almost miraculous, but they are simply the body returning to balance. Robert's story reveals something most men never hear. Decline is not inevitable. The body is not a machine that wears out beyond repair. It's a living system designed to regenerate when given the right conditions. And the first step to regeneration often begins not with what you add, but with what you remove. Many men over 60 suffer from the same hidden imbalance. They wake tired, lose focus, and feel their confidence slip. They blame testosterone, stress, or genetics. But when we examine their lifestyles, the real saboteur is often dietary inflammation. Tiny, daily doses of oxidative stress that accumulate until energy collapses. The tragedy is how easy it is to stop. To understand why, imagine the body as a triangle of equilibrium. One side is circulation, another is sleep. The third is hormonal balance. When any side weakens, the structure wobbles. Strengthen even one, and stability returns. Robert unknowingly repaired all three. When circulation improves, every cell receives more oxygen and nutrients. That's when the mind sharpens, endurance returns, and the quiet strength of masculinity resurfaces. Better blood flow also supports the organs that define male vitality: the heart, the brain, and the prostate. Next comes sleep. Deep rest is not optional. It's the nightly reset that governs hormone production and tissue repair. The same foods that inflame arteries also disrupt the hormones controlling your sleep cycle. Once Robert removed them, he stopped waking at night. His body entered the long, uninterrupted repair state that aging often steals. The final point is hormonal equilibrium. Many men chase testosterone boosters without realizing that inflammation blocks hormone receptors. Your body can produce hormones, but if the receptors are swollen or coated with oxidized fat, the signal never lands. Once inflammation calms, those receptors clear, and the hormones you already have begin to work again. That's why Robert's transformation felt sudden. It wasn't new chemistry. It was dormant power finally activated. These changes unfolded without drugs, extreme diets, or expensive treatments. They came from one act of awareness. And that's what most men overlook. They think longevity demands discipline when it really begins with knowledge. Knowing what helps, what harms, and what your body has been quietly asking you to stop doing. If you're over 60, start by observing your kitchen. Check every bottle, jar, and label. You'll find the same culprits again and again. Canola oil in your salad dressing, soybean oil in your bread, sunflower oil in your cereal. Remove them. Replace them with real fats from nature. Within weeks, your body will tell you if you're on the right track. When I share this advice, some men resist it. They've spent decades trusting mainstream guidance, and change feels like surrender. But the truth doesn't need belief. It only needs experience. Once they feel the difference, resistance disappears. The clarity, stamina, and confidence they thought were gone return, not as nostalgia, but as proof of recovery. Preventive medicine is the most powerful form of healing because it returns control to you. You don't have to wait for a diagnosis to begin changing direction. The symptoms you notice, the restless nights, the slower mornings, the fading motivation, are not random. They're the body's way of asking for help. Listen early, and you'll never have to fight late. Robert's recovery is not rare. I've seen it in men who chose awareness over denial, simplicity over complexity. Each story begins the same way, with a question. Why do I feel this way? And each ends the same way. I can't believe how different I feel. The science supports what experience shows. Refined seed oils contain high levels of omega-6 fatty acids that disrupt the body's omega-3 balance. This imbalance fuels systemic inflammation, affecting every system, from blood pressure to prostate health. When the ratio normalizes, the entire internal network begins to heal. But there's another dimension often ignored, the psychological one. When men believe decline is inevitable, their choices follow that belief. They give up before trying, assume fatigue means failure, and confuse aging with absence of purpose. Robert's story dismantles that narrative. Change the story you tell yourself, and your biology will follow. True vitality isn't about feeling young. It's about feeling present, fully capable, fully alive, fully connected to the body you inhabit. That feeling isn't reserved for the lucky or genetically gifted. It's available to anyone willing to remove what stands in the way. I often remind my patients that progress doesn't happen by accident. The body wants balance. Every heartbeat, every breath, every cell moves toward harmony. Our role is to stop interrupting that process. Once we do, nature takes over, and the results speak louder than any prescription. Men who've made this shift describe the same awakening. They no longer drag themselves through the day. Their mornings start sharper. Their posture changes. Their confidence, that quiet sense of self, returns. It's not vanity. It's vitality restored. This transformation doesn't mean perfection. It means awareness. You don't need to eliminate every indulgence or live under strict rules. You just need to recognize the difference between what sustains life and what silently steals it. If you take one lesson from Robert's story, let it be this. The body remembers how to heal. The spark you think you've lost is still there, waiting beneath the noise of modern habits. When you give it room to breathe, when you remove the interference, it reignites faster than you imagine. Many men ask me where to begin. My answer never changes. Begin with what you can control. The next meal, the next label you read, the next decision between convenience and care. Each small choice is a message to your body saying, I haven't given up on you. And your body always responds. Robert's doctor, me, was surprised by his transformation, but not because it was impossible. I was surprised because it reminded me how powerful simplicity can be. As physicians, we often look for complex interventions. Yet sometimes the most profound medicine is subtraction. So, if you're listening to this, let it be a mirror. Think about your habits, your plate, and your energy. Ask yourself one question. What if feeling better isn't about adding anything new, but about removing what never belonged? Aging is inevitable, but decline is optional. The path to strength, clarity, and peace isn't locked behind genetics or youth. It's in every deliberate choice you make. Robert found it at 67. You can find it today. Share this message with someone who needs it. A father, a brother, a friend who's accepted fatigue as his new normal. Tell him there's another way, one that starts with awareness and ends with renewal. If you're ready to join thousands of men taking control of their health naturally, subscribe now. Each week, we uncover the small, overlooked details that create lasting change. You don't have to chase youth. You just have to cooperate with the design of your own body. And once you do, you'll understand what Robert meant when he said, "Doctor, I finally feel alive again." Because sometimes the most powerful cure is simply removing what's quietly holding you back.